Okay, let's get started. So today, thank you for joining us. We'll be going over the importance of an annual portfolio health check, also known as a data wash. Before we get started, as always, please feel free to ask questions in the GoToWebinar control panel. And of course, we are recording today's presentation, so we will send out the slides as well as a recording of the webinar itself to you in the next 24 to 48 hours. A little bit about CreditorWatch before we get into the thick of it. We're Australia's leading and most innovative commercial credit reporting bureau with over 50,000 customers. This is coming from companies of all sizes, from unincorporated, sole traders, trusts, partnerships, working out of their bedroom, their garage, all the way up to some of the biggest companies, public companies in Australia, across pretty much every single industry vertical that exists, and huge parts of Australia, all states. We have a wide variety of products, as you can see here in our product suite. Obviously, CreditorWatch being the core product, credit reports, monitoring alerts, debt collection tools. DebtorLogic Plus gives you the ability to analyze your accounts receivable ledger. Directed due diligence looks at the people behind a business, keeps an eye on them for you. Plays is an online credit application. PPSR Logic looks after everything PPSR related. And our newest product that we released fairly recently is Financial Risk Assessments, which is an in-depth financial report looking at the last 2 or 3 years worth of financials. We have a CPA do a bit of an analysis on that information. Really important for large transactions, key relationships, be it customer or even supplier as well. Please keep an eye out on social media and our newsletters for our Crew Watch episodes, as well as plenty of pictures of the team in action and updates on products and features. So a quick look at the agenda today. So how Portfolio Health Check saves time and provides value to multiple departments in your business, not just credit, which is what we typically focus on. Database warning signs, automation strategies using CreditorWatch, how API integrations can streamline or eliminate major issues, and a live demonstration. What I've actually got, we've got a bunch of screen grabs that I've incorporated into the presentation today. So quick poll question for you. Have you performed a portfolio health check or a data wash in the past? Now, a couple of options for you to answer here. Yes, with CreditorWatch. Yes, not with CreditorWatch. And also just a no in general. So I think something to add here is there's a wide variety of health checks that you can perform, and I will talk through that probably towards the end. It is not just, appending an ABN or identifying adverse information. We can go much deeper than that, and we'll certainly be sending some follow-up information with more information about exactly what is included in a portfolio health check. All right, most of you have voted here. Thank you for that. I'll give it another couple of seconds and we'll close that up. This is a good opportunity for me to understand exactly who is dialed in and listening today. So thank you for making the time in your lunch break. All right, thanks for that. Getting back into it. What is a portfolio health check? So it provides you with accurate and insightful data, which has been aggregated from a wide variety of sources, and I'll show you those sources on the next screen. While the health check fills in missing information across your customer database, it also highlights risks, can flag trends, and call out important data clusters. So, for example, exposure to a specific segment, state, industry. We can also utilize it. We can also, by appending information such as ANZIC data, employee numbers within a company, even revenue, we can start to use it from a sales perspective so that your organization can start to target like-minded businesses or similar businesses that you're already working with that are profitable for your business. So here is a bit of a breakdown of the data that we are pulling. ASIC, of course, everything from shareholders, directors, addresses, ASIC status, Australian Business Register in there on the bottom right too. Adverse information such as payment defaults, mercantile inquiries, court actions, insolvency notices. We can append the credit score and also a payment predictor. Data is coming through from Xero and MYOB. Of course, CreditWatch is the only bureau that does integrate with those two accounting platforms. And there's, of course, accounting data coming from larger organisations in the form of age trial balances. Other information in there as well, ANZIC industry codes, industry data, number of revenues, the revenue of a company, where we have it, and also employee size as well, always really good indicators from a sales, marketing or credit risk perspective. So why consider portfolio health check? So just a few of the many reasons why you should be considering one, and we typically advise our clients to do it on an annual basis. We find that if you do it just around end of financial year, it's a great, easy reminder, good time to do it. You're typically reviewing customers, you're typically reviewing, your financials, your P&L, your balance sheet, etc. It's a really important time to do a customer review as well. So annual review of accounts / customers, append ABNs or missing ACNs, assess client credit risk, most important one obviously when using a bureau like CreditorWatch. Trade credit insurance requirements. So this is a big one that comes up with a lot of our clients in that trade who utilize trade credit insurance. Most of you would, or all of you should be doing an annual review as part of your policy. PPSR registrations and renewals, probably the most important reason to be doing it if you are doing bulk registrations and renewals. Preparing your data for a new CRM ERP. Plenty of people go through that experience of moving into, into SAP or Oracle or something like that from an older platform. And probably the more niche reason is new business acquisition or merger, regardless of whether you're in credit, sales, marketing, you're the GM, MD, CEO, being able to have a look at the data or clean the data of another company that's going to come into your CRM or ERP is really important. So a couple of points we're going through here. Saves time and provide value to multiple departments in your business, as I touched on. So clean data in, clean data out, dirty data in, dirty data out. It's simple as that. So some of the benefits here, you're increasing your operational efficiency because you're spending time working with clean data rather than cleaning it up in the first place. Your campaigns from a marketing perspective are a lot more targeted, accurate, and therefore you're going to see higher conversions. You're going to reduce your bad debt because you're dealing with correct entities, or you're identifying high risk ones. You're better understanding your customers as a whole, whether that is from a credit risk perspective or just from a segmentation perspective. Being able to understand that this company is in New South Wales, we can target them for something that we might be specifically doing for New South Wales versus not knowing where someone's from, sending them an offer that says for New South Wales businesses and they turn out to be in another state. It's not a great look from a customer point of view. So I've got there that obviously refining marketing and sales methods, increasing conversion rates, maintaining long-term customer relationships, and increasing customer satisfaction. The more you know about a customer, the more than often that the better the customer service is going to be, because you can talk to them from the perspective of knowing more about them, be it from an email, calling them up, and being able to say, great, I know that they're in this area, I know that they're in this industry, they might be suffering as a result of the fires or the floods, or they're in the aviation or tourism industry, so we know that coronavirus is going to hit them. You can have that, human sort of element, more human touch when dealing with them, even if you're dealing with them from a, an automated marketing system or something like that. And importantly, the last one here, discover new opportunities within existing or new markets. Being able to identify areas, businesses, industries that are more valuable to you than others is a fantastic way to then go, great, well, let's find more businesses in that space. CreditorWatch, can you give me a list of companies in New South Wales that operate in the hospitality, restaurant, bar industry. Yes, we can do that. We can then give you a list, and we can also wash it against our bureau data to ensure that we're removing those that are high risk. Okay, so just some of the ways to save time, provide more value, get more out of your data, but also find opportunities. Some database warning signs, really, really clear indications that you require a health check or data wash. Incorrect or missing data. This is, we see the database of almost every single business that uses CreditorWatch. And I can tell you, I don't think we've ever come across one that doesn't have incorrect or missing data. Now, that could be addresses, contact information, ABN, ACN, business name, who the directors are, that sort of thing. Really key information, basic information that you should have on every single one of your clients or prospects. And it is simple to update as well. It is the sort of thing that can be turned around in a couple of days, and is certainly inexpensive. What we do see where there isn't incorrect or missing, where there isn't missing data, people will use, be it in sales, credit management, wherever, certain generic terms, like they'll put unknown in capitals, right? And that'll be in the space of a first name or a last name or a company or an email, right? So they fulfill the mandatory field process, right? They can't leave it blank, so they've just put unknown in there or another generic term. Or they put in John Smith or any range of other generic John Doe, Jane Smith, that sort of thing into the database. Really important to identify those and get them updated, remove them from that database, because it is going to cause issues down the track from a sales and marketing perspective, but also from a credit risk perspective. And I touch on the importance of data and knowing who you're trading with. We obviously know anyone in that sort of finance space, KYC, AML requirements, know your customer, but also that rings true into the trade credit space. If you're supplying goods or services away from finance, you need to know who you are dealing with to make a proper risk assessment. If you ever have to go to court, you definitely have to prove that you were trading with the correct entity. Databases managed, updated individually rather than from a central location. Just some of the causes, including duplicates, mismatched data. Some people, sales might have their own database that they're managing. Marketing's got their own one. Credit's got their own one. All of a sudden, 3 databases that look very different. The importance of having one central location where it is updated by one person, everyone benefits from that update. Okay, so it's a really good way to bring multiple databases together that could have been, causing duplicates, mismatched data, etc. CreditorWatch can work with you to create a central database that's obviously cleansed and then uploaded into a central location for everyone to take advantage of. Some other database warning signs here, some obvious ones where you've seen an increase in credit risk, bad debts, or compliance issues. This could be across the whole portfolio. However, it could also be in specific segments, industries, geographical locations. Portfolio health check can help identify those. It may be that you don't actually know that there is an issue with a specific state or industry. However, off the back of performing one of these health checks, you can actually have your eyes open to the fact that, wow, okay, we really need to stop trading with sole traders in WA, or we need to stop trading with, retailers in Queensland, that sort of thing. We can start to give you those sort of beneficial insights so you can make data-driven decisions that are going to benefit your company. The other one is touching on, again, on sales and marketing, return to sender post, email bounce backs, dead phone calls. All of these are costing you money, either in terms of actual dollars to, Australia Post, etc., where you're wasting money. Email bounce backs, you're paying for, the number of emails from a subscription point of view in your email marketing solution or platform that you're utilizing, and also dead phone calls. one, the cost of the call, two, the cost of the time for someone to actually pick the phone up, call, find out that it's dead, or you're able to leave a message, but nothing's actually going anywhere down the track. So there's really, really easy sort of database warning signs that come up, and even easier ways to update that data and avoid these warnings and issues that come with them. Got more here when we send this through. Click through and we'll take you through to CreditWatch, the importance of data cleansing and a portfolio health check. There's a nice blog article that was put together by the team for you to go through if and when you find the time. So we've got some automation strategies. So obviously CreditorWatch very much focused on, excuse me, on technology, automation, integration. If we can move away from manual intervention, if we can automate things in real time, if we can have systems talk to one another rather than having someone copy and paste or even manually upload data, that is certainly the route that we want to go down. So auto monitoring, the importance of that being that you know exactly which companies you're dealing with and ensuring that they are being monitored on a daily basis, so you receive alerts on them rather than doing it manually, potentially missing one, or doing it on a daily, monthly, weekly, monthly, or even quarterly. Some of our customers do that. If you can auto monitor, turn that on, you're not going to miss out on anything, or you're not going to find out a month later when you decide to start monitoring one of those new customers that you just brought on board. An online credit application, or it could be an online supplier application, doesn't matter. The fact is, a product like Apply Easy includes things like mandatory fields where people can't leave anything blank. Yes, you still run the risk of having unknown or John Smith put in there. However, they are fairly simple to identify down the track, and real-time data verification. Someone puts details into a PDF, or a Word doc, sends it through. You've then got to manually upload it into your system. Your system more than likely is not doing any sort of real-time verification or any verification at all. That data is now in your database forever until you do a portfolio health check or update it in some other way. So by capturing the information online with an online application, you can actually avoid that issue from the very beginning with real-time data verification, mandatory fields, that sort of thing. You can then have that information automatically populated into your CRM or ERP, so you've got no human data entry errors taking place thereafter. Auto decisioning is another thing that's available in there. You set the rules as to when you should approve a new customer account, and based on those rules, the account will be approved or rejected. There's no chance of an error taking place or someone missing, a warning sign and accidentally approving an account when they shouldn't. API, of course, is the ultimate goal that everyone should be moving towards, and we're seeing more and more companies start to take advantage of our APIs, and what that is doing is allowing CreditorWatch, for example, or Apply Easy to talk directly with your ERP or your decisioning system or your finance system, whatever it is, whatever industry or business you are in. Utilizing the API pushes correct information from CreditorWatch or Apply Easy directly into your system. All right. And of course, the last one, the reason we're all here today, is portfolio health check. So how APIs integration can streamline major issues. I've obviously touched on that. A couple more points in there for you to look at afterwards. One thing I probably did miss there is opening new accounts faster. So there's an increase in the customer satisfaction, which is extremely important, ultimately saving a huge amount of time and money. So some example reporting that we've pulled. So when you perform a portfolio health check, you get this really nice PDF that is sent through to you that you can utilize internally. It is great to pass on to, for example, your CFO, finance manager, CEO, MD, whoever it is, up to management, even board level, because it is really sophisticated, really professional looking, brings in all of this information to show you what's good, what's bad, where have we got some opportunities, where have we got some threats, that sort of thing, right? So what we're doing is we're taking the data that you give us, running it through a proprietary matching algorithm so that we can match your data with our data. Data clusters is something that we're big on. This is what I was sort of touching on earlier. It's a really valuable way to understand concentration risk to a specific, geographical location, industry, entity type, that sort of thing that may be resulting in an increase or an above average amount of bad debt. Okay, something that is really, really important to understand. It could also be a really good way to identify great areas that you should be targeting, whether it's geographical, industry, or entity related. Matching strategy is going to review, cross-reference, as I said, our data with your own data. We will identify mistakes, errors. We'll identify records that we couldn't match. We'll identify those that we could. For example, you can see here under 3.2, all the types of information that we can do. We can append, obviously, name, ABN, ACN, full address, partial address. We can go into adverse information, risk data, that sort of thing. So it's a really powerful way to start updating little bits of your data, or go the whole hog and get everything appended that we have access to. The report itself will also break down entities in your database or contact list I've got here. We'll start to identify, the number of entities from a status perspective, registered versus deregistered versus under external administration. The good thing about that is you can then go, great, of those, here we go, under external administration, 60 entities out of about, a bit over 4,000. We need to get onto those under external administration ASAP. Do we know about them all? The ones that we don't, we need to contact the administrator. Do we have a PPSR registration against them? Are we a secured creditor? Are we non-unsecured? That sort of thing, and start to be really proactive about it, rather than finding out down the track, oh, well, they're deregistered and I didn't get my my proof of debt in soon enough, so I'm not going to get any cents in the dollar or whatever dividend the administrator or liquidator may be paying out. Entity types, age, status of the GST, and of course presence of adverse data. And then we can take it a step further and start looking at industry, revenue, credit scores, payment trends, that sort of thing as well. Specifically, we can split out incorporated versus unincorporated entities, of course. So unincorporated entities, when I say that, I mean sole traders, trusts, partnerships, individuals, that sort of thing. A tough segment of the market to understand and get data on, get visibility on. So this is a really fantastic way to, one, identify all of those unincorporated entities that you are trading with, and then from that, work out how you should be dealing with them. Are they performing? Are they not performing? Are they causing you more grief than good? Should you be dealing with them at all? That sort of thing, okay? So what I've done is I've just looked at why you should consider it. I've pulled out a few more examples on what I was discussing last time. So annual review of accounts, some basic questions that you can answer here. When is the last time you reviewed your customer list? Are there any debt accounts that could be removed? Are you sending offers, emails, etc., to accounts that you no longer trade with? Do they have access to, a credit limit with you that they really shouldn't, as a result of the fact that they just still exist within your database and they haven't been closed off correctly? It's certainly something that comes up very often. Append missing ABNs, ACNs, business name, right? Some really basic information updating here that's critical for credit, sales, marketing. But here, the example I have, if you take someone to court for a bad debt, they owe you money, you've tried, collection strategies, you may even have passed it to a debt collector, you actually need to be able to prove that you're trading with the correct entity. How do you know who that correct entity is in the first place? Do you have these, ABN, ACN, for example, correct business name on all of your customers? How do you know they didn't sell their business to someone else or start a new company? Assess client credit risk. Obviously, CreditorWatch's core responsibility and aim. Who should you not be trading with? Who needs a credit limit increase or a decrease? Who needs to be moved to COD? Who do you need to keep an eye on? potentially, if you're a larger organization with a bigger credit team and a little bit more of a sophisticated collection software that you use, you could potentially identify those high risk clients that, look, they're still paying their bills, but we're starting to see them slow their payments elsewhere within the CreditorWatch community. We've seen that they've got a bit of adverse against them. You may need to move them onto a higher risk treatment plan within your collection software strategy. Okay, and that's a great way to do it by appending, for example, a credit score against every single one of your debtors. You can start to identify which ones are good, which ones are neutral, which ones are bad, and which ones you certainly should not be dealing with and potentially need to close off their credit accounts as quickly as possible. A big one here that we hear about very often is trade credit, people with trade credit insurance. One requirement that I would say exists probably in every single policy is the need to perform an annual review on all insured debtors. If you are not doing this, you can run the risk of having a claim knocked back in the future. Really quick and affordable way to avoid that and to perform that annual review is obviously using Portfolio Health Check or a data wash. PPSR registrations and renewals, I think I mentioned this earlier, nowhere else is having accurate data more important, I would say. If you register 1 or 1,000 or 10,000 registrations and one piece of information is incorrect in every single line item, that is not only a waste of money, but it will render the registrations void and useless. An administrator will have a field day with that, and you will end up losing all of your goods or your money. So really simple thing to do is ensure that all the data that you have on all of those companies is correct and up to date prior to performing. It could be one-off registrations that you do yourself. It could be bulk registrations or renewals as well. And then the last two here, more niche or obscure, preparing your data for a new CRM or ERP, obviously dirty data in, dirty data out. All that money is being spent setting up a new ERP system. Get the data side of it correct. All right, if you spend all that money and then you upload crappy data, you're going to get crappy insights out of it. And then the last one here, new business acquisition or merger. Portfolio Health Check is a great way to assess the value of a new business. Great way to have a look at which clients of theirs you may want to keep, which ones you want to get rid of, where there's opportunity, where there's risk, that sort of thing. It's a really, really powerful tool to utilize. It's a great way if you're a accounts receivable manager, credit manager, for example, to look good in front of the CFO or the CEO by going, hey guys, why don't you do this? Have a quick review. It's quick, it's affordable. We could find some insights in it that give you a bit of leverage to get a better deal in that acquisition or merger that is taking place. How do I get started? For those of you who are interested, we've got a little easy table here. Must-haves: internal customer number, account number, whatever you call it internally. Entity name, even if it's not correct, we can update that as part of it. ABN ACN is great to have, but if you don't have that, we need entity name, state, and postcode. An additional nice to have information or for further in-depth analysis, age trial balance, aging information, and then segmentation data, industry, business unit, etc. So quick question here for those of you who are interested, please do let us know so we can target our phone calls accordingly and get to you as quickly as possible. Would you like to be contacted regarding our portfolio health check options? If you could let us know, that's really beneficial for us. I appreciate it. Don't be shy. Obviously, just say no if it's not of interest and you've just attended for educational purposes. There is obviously more information on the website, and we will send follow-up emails in the next few months as well, just to keep it top of mind as we come into end of financial year. As I said, it's a great time of year to be doing that, be making sure that everything you've got is up to date and clean. Give it another couple of seconds for you to finish voting. Hopefully you can all see that okay. Alrighty. As I mentioned, latest blog post, or one of our latest blog posts, talks about the importance of data cleansing. So please jump in there and have a look if there's interest. That takes us to the end. I will just check if there are any questions. A couple of questions here around pricing. Of course, best thing to do is obviously speak to one of our account managers, because the pricing varies depending on what you need done. If you're doing a really simple ABN or ACN appending project, or you're just verifying the status of entities, the price is different to if you wanted to append, industry codes, revenue of businesses that you're dealing with, number of employees they might have, whether there's any risk data against them, like court actions and payment defaults. You can get credit score appended. There's almost no shortage of things that we can do in there as well. Bulk reporting is also part of this. We can actually bulk purchase a credit report or ASIC extract, for example, and append all the directors, addresses, shareholders against your whole database. Really powerful tool, particularly for those in finance with KYC AML requirements, or for those using trade credit insurance that have a requirement there. If not, that brings us to the end today. So thanks again for joining us. If you do have any questions in the future, don't be shy to let us know. Thanks very much, everyone. Have a great week.